return Maduro to Venezuela. That is the call. And if you're not calling that, you don't actually condemn Trump's illegal actions. You don't actually condemn America's illegal actions. Because if you think it was illegal, the first step is to do reparations. And the starting point for reparations of a kidnapping is returning the kidnapped person. And if you really want to live out, don't just return him to Venezuela, send him to the ICC, send him to The Hague. And you know what they're going to do? Return him to Venezuela, as is his right, as a sovereign who hasn't even been charged by the International Court. Who, by the way, does still have jurisdiction over Maduro because they haven't completed their secession, and has actually charged, you know who? Benjamin Netanyahu, who came to America and was not sent. So this especially goes out to the two things can be true at once crowd. You can believe all of the American propaganda around Maduro, and you can believe some of the truth of the harm that he's caused. But if you sincerely believe both things, you have to take at least one seriously, which is that if what was done was illegal, the consequence of a crime is reparation. You cannot say it was illegal and wrong and bad and atrocious and then say we should continue doing it by holding him. Every second we hold him, we commit a crime. So if you want to pretend we're living in a rules-based order, which is the fantasy world that liberals live in, you gotta pretend a little harder. And that includes saying every second we're committing a crime. So if you're part of the two things can be true at once crowd, the consequence of that is your call shouldn't end with condemning Trump, which is very politically expedient for the liberals that just want you to vote more, but to call to return Maduro. If you actually believe in rules, follow them. But you don't. Because you don't actually believe in the system that you're appealing to. You don't actually believe the system you hold third world leaders to. How you condemn Maduro. How you condemn every third world leader on the basis of human rights, on the basis of violating political integrity. You use it when it's helpful to you to condemn Trump, to condemn third world leaders, but you don't hold the consequence of it, which is that America and the American empire is the largest criminal in human history. Now, to be extremely clear, I don't believe in America intervening at all in South America, ever, regardless of how brutal or not brutal a given leader is. That is not the discussion. So if a bunch of bots are in my comments saying, don't you understand how horrible Maduro is? They didn't watch the whole video, and call them out for that. And that mainly comes from a position of no one ever being as brutal as America is every single day. From Iraq to Palestine to Libya, we slaughter more than any apparent dictator could. So we have no fucking right ever to intervene or judge another country's actions.